everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me this week. So this week I'm going to be talking about classroom behavior management strategies. So if you're interested in this topic, then please keep on watching. Okay, so this week I'm going to be talking about classroom behavior management strategies because so many teachers are reporting to me that post-pandemic, students are not understanding how to behave after being online for 2 years. In some cases, they're not used to being in a room full of students and they don't understand what the expected behavior is. And they've almost lost some of their social skills of being in person. So I thought I would share some of the tips that have been shared with me from all of the teachers that I collaborate with. So the first tip that has been shared with me is to use essential agreements. It's so important that these essential agreements or these agreed protocols and expected behavior is co-constructed with your students. So let's say at the beginning of the year, we talk about expected behaviors, and we may use a concept attainment where we talk about non-expected behaviors. So you may create a list of expected behaviors, non-expected behaviors, and then co-create some statements or some phrases around that. When we co-create essential agreements with our students, this gives them ownership and they have all contributed to how the classroom can work harmoniously and how they can work together collaboratively with the goal of being engaged in lessons. So the second tip that I found really useful that was shared by Peter Ligedel's book, Building Thinking Classrooms, is group students into 3 and no more than 3. Now, we know that when we have more than 3 students in a group, there's always a student that's going to be sitting out quietly by themselves and not participating. But when we have groups of 3, I think it really is more confronting for students and there's more accountability for each student to be able to contribute and participate in the lesson. My third strategy is about encouraging students to get up and move around the classroom. So we don't want students to be sitting stagnant for 60 minutes. We want students to be energized and to be sometimes going to vertical non-permanent services, sometimes writing on the windows, or going to different stations around the room where you've set up different learning experiences that are perhaps differentiated by content or process. So we want to try and really encourage that movement in learning because a lot of research does suggest that when we encourage movement in the classroom, learning is enhanced and students are more engaged and motivated. And then the last tip that's been shared with me to help students behave again back into the classroom in a social context is to have engaging tasks. So we have tasks that are high ceiling, low threshold. That means that everybody can enter and exit at their own confidence level. And the learning experience are open-ended enough that there's not just one answer. So the goal is not just to get to one answer and then move on, but the goal could be many different answers and celebrating the different strategies, the processes of how we get to those different answers. So they're my 4 tips that have been shared with me to help classroom behavior management. One is to start with essential agreements and co-construct them with students. 2 is to have either, I think, pairs or no more than groups of 3 working collaboratively on a problem or a learning experience. 3, get your students moving around the classroom so that they're not sitting for the entirety of the classroom. And 4, include really engaging learning experiences that are high ceiling, low threshold, they're open-ended. So the goal is not just to get one answer, but there may be many possible answers and many possible routes. So thank you so much for joining me again this week. If you have any ideas of classroom behavior management strategies, please feel free to put it in the comment section below. Thank you once again and hope to see you next time.